Try again.
Can you hear my voice? Coming through the noise. I'm floating through outer space. I'm lost and I can't find a way. Oh, all the lights going dark and my hopes destroyed. Help me, is anybody there?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn? Hey, 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 hey,
What's your name? What district office are you running for?
My name is Martha Rowan, and I live in Brooklyn Heights, and I'm running for office in the 26th district for state senate. That area is from all along the water in Brooklyn, from Dumbo, Brooklyn Heights, Cobble Hill, Carroll Gardens, Borum Hill, Red Hook, all the way down to Bay Ridge and Fort Hamilton and Dyker Heights. It's the whole part of Brooklyn along the water.
I went to high school in that area. I went to Brooklyn Tech High School.
Oh, that's right near where I live.
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I live just a short walk away from there. If I walk down Tillery Street, which is right near my house, I can then turn and get to Brooklyn Tech.
So here's our next question. What's your favorite cooking spice?
I'm going to cheat a little bit and say that it is curry, which in itself is not exactly a spice. It's a mixture of spices, but you can buy it as curry.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought curry was its own spice.
No, it's a mixture of a lot of different spices. And one of the main spices is turmeric, which is extremely good for you. It helps, it controls inflammation. It's very good for your heart and for your brain. But that's not the reason I like it so much. I like it because it tastes so good. It gives such a wonderful flavor to food, and it makes it a beautiful golden color. And when you're cooking with it, the whole kitchen just has this beautiful fragrance. And one of the things that I like about it is that it is a mixture of spices, and you can buy it as a spice, but various different varieties. But then if you decide you like it, you can go to the web and find recipes. It's really easy to make your own. And you can find a combination of the spices that are in it that you particularly like, and even make several variants for different kinds of foods.
Oh, I will look into that. And that fits into a question I'll have for you later. But right now I want to ask you, what does a senator do?
A state senator is a member of the New York State Senate, which is one of two houses of the legislature along with the state assembly. And the job of the legislature is to make new laws and to make amendments or changes to existing laws if that's necessary. It also works with the governor to come up with the state budget and raise and lower taxes. The senators also, they can veto, I'm sorry, the governor can veto some of a law that they put before him to sign, or her. And but the both houses of the legislature, the Senate and the Assembly together, can override that veto. So they have that power as well. And one of the things that senators do is work on committees to learn about the policy issues that they're going to make laws on and vote on. So they have to learn all the details. So there are different kinds of committees like health or education, transportation. Those are three that I would be very interested in being on. And it's really, the legislature is really, really important, because when it comes to making laws, you want it to be made, you want those laws to be made by people who are accountable to you. And the members of both the Assembly and the Senate have to be reelected every 2 years. So they need to be responsible to their constituents, the people who live in their district, to answer for any laws that they make.
Well, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize that, because I know I didn't realize it was every 2 years. And it seems there's some senators who are in there like for life, like forever, and they're not held accountable. So it's good for people to know. I think it's very important that people know how the government works and all this information, and that they're able to get in good people like you, Martha.
Oh, thank you.
Let me ask you, when you hear the phrase, united we stand, divided we fall, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I hear it, I think of the American Revolution, because that was a phrase that was used often to unite the various different colonies, to make sure that they would be strong in their fight against the king. And I think that today it is the same need to be united for all Americans. We have that same need. And it's very, very important. I see it as a reminder that we need to talk to each other. And not think about, not let ourselves be divided by our political persuasions, by our races or religion, anything. We're all Americans, we're all brothers and sisters, we're all members of our communities who care about our communities, who care about our country, who care about our families. And if we're fighting one another, we can't make our communities work. And if we sit down and talk together, we'll suddenly discover that when it comes down to the really important things, even if we may disagree about some details, we really care about the same things. And if we are together, our communities will thrive. We will have a strong country, a strong city, strong communities. If we are divided and constantly fighting with each other and unwilling to talk together, we'll have disorder and disharmony. And that's one of the reasons that I am running, because I want to be able to go into the communities and find ways to help people talk to each other to solve their problems themselves.
So my next question for you is connected to my social impact business, TFKTWA, training foster kids to work with animals. It's a nonprofit academic program, and our dual mission is to prepare foster kids who have aged out of the system and don't have any family or any other people of their own to go to prepare them for adulthood and to help animals at the same time. Now, these kids, they'll get their own apartments as young adults. What kitchen tool or cooking advice would you give them?
Well, the kitchen tool that I would advise people to get is a steamer. And I have one right here. I've had it, it's all banged up and kind
Oh,
of.
I love it. I love props when the melting pot, if people have props, I love it.
Oh, great. Well, this is kind of banged up. It's got some dents in it. I've had it for many years, but the way a steamer works, and they're easy to find, you can get them in all different sizes, and some of them can be expensive, but you don't, I got this at one of those odd lot shops. But in the top, it has a sort of a colander type thing that you can put vegetables in. And you put water in the bottom, and vegetables cook really, really, really fast in this. It's really, you'd almost faster, I think, than even, and better, I even think, than with the pressure cooker.
And it retains a lot of the vitamins, right, when you steam it, because it stays on there.
Yes, it's a good way to be able to, because people really need to eat, most people need to eat more vegetables, and that's sometimes young people kind of say, oh, that's too much trouble. But the fact is that if you just plop some greens into here with some water, they'll cook really fast. And another reason that I like it is that it's dual purpose. You can use this part to make soups, make stews, and cook bean dishes, and or boil spaghetti. But another nice thing is that you can have some kind of, say, for example, some kind of a little bean dish or something like that in the bottom, and then have this on the top, and just at the last minute, add some greens or some vegetables and cook those, and you have a full meal. So
That is fabulous.
I love it.
I might have to get one of those for myself too. Okay, so the TFK kids, they'll soon will be eligible to vote. What advice would you give them as first-time voters?
Okay, well, as first-time voters, I think practical things are really, really important. And I would say that, first of all, you need to know what your district is and where you're going to be voting, and of course the date. You can find that information at vote.gov. You can find your polling place if you go to vote.nyc. It's the New York City Board of Elections website. And if you scroll down, you'll find a place where it has voters information, and it'll say, find my polling site, find my poll site. And the nice thing about it is that it gives up to that, not only gives you where your poll site is, which is important to know, you need to know where it is and have a sense of how to get there so that at the last minute, you won't be confused and end up in the wrong place. And also this year, especially, it's important to find out what your district is, because for the state Senate and for the congressional races, the districts have been changed. So if you say, somebody who voted last year, who lives in your building, who voted last year at one place, it may be different this year because the districts have changed. And that site also gives you the district number. And then on less specifically practical method questions, I encourage you to learn as much as you can about the candidates. And now that we have the internet, that's easier than it used to be. Well, you can go to a place called Ballotpedia, where you can look up, once you know your district, you can look up the names of the people, find out who's running, and it will give the candidates their websites, and then you can go to their websites and get information about them. Sometimes their websites will have information about their events that are coming up. And I encourage you to, they'll have town halls or places where they're speaking, or just places where they're going to be to be present. Don't hesitate to go to those and ask them questions. It's their job to listen to you. And if they really want to do their job well, they want to hear what you are concerned about, what your questions are. And also, if you don't find places or can't go to events, they'll have some way to contact them with an email address or a web form to fill out where you can ask questions. And if they really want to hear those questions, they want to know what you're concerned about, because otherwise they can't do their jobs. I know I want to hear, and my website is marthaforstatesenate.com. So anybody who wants to ask questions, please send me an email from there. My email address is on that.
Okay, so now is the time of the show that we call the First Amendment portion of the show, where we give you 5 minutes to talk to the audience about anything you'd like to talk about.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about, big surprise, my campaign, because I'm running for state senate, because I think this is a very crucial time right now. I'm passionate about health. I really think that it's a cliche to say if you have your health, you have everything, but health is really important. And I think one of the things we need two very important things. We need to have the freedom to make the best decisions for ourselves, for our health. We need bodily autonomy. We need the right to make our own decisions about how we will care for our bodies, our spirits, our minds, and our souls. We also need the information that will make it possible for us to make these best decisions. And right now, both of those things are under some pressure. Where people are being mandated and coerced and pushed into taking medications or injections that they don't want, that they don't believe are the best for their health, and they're being denied the information that they need with censorship. And I'm running for office to try to change that, to make sure that all New Yorkers will have the rights to their bodily autonomy, to make the decisions that are best for them, for their health, and that they will have access to the information that they need. And also that their doctors and healthcare professionals will be able to give them the right information and right advice without having to be afraid that they're going to lose their jobs or lose their licenses. Because when it comes to healthcare, as with most things in life, one size simply doesn't fit all. We're all different in so many different ways in the kinds of things that we need as far as health goes. And to make some kind of rules that only that one size fits all for everybody just is not only ineffective, it's dangerous for many people. And when it comes to health, one of the things that I'm concerned about is to make sure that people have access to that the environment is such that it's possible to have good health, because good health doesn't really come from medicines. It doesn't come from injections. Those are last resorts. It comes from having a good, healthy diet. So we need to make sure that people in every community have access to nutritious, healthy food. And that means, in addition to good grocery stores, it means things like farmers markets, community gardens, community-supported agriculture, where people get together and buy produce directly from farmers. It means urban farming. For example, in my district, we have farms in Red Hook, actual regular farms. So that kind of thing is something that I would very much want to encourage. We also have to make sure our air is clean and our water is clean. So that's another issue that I'm very concerned about. And we need spaces where we can have contact with nature. That's good for our physical health, and it's so good for our emotional and spiritual health. And you know what else? It's also very good for animals, for our pets. They need to have places to walk and play, and for wildlife. And we need to have contact with nature, with plants and with animals, in order to be full, complete human beings. And it's so important to nourish our spirits. I'm also passionate about education. I'm a retired teacher and I've taught in college. And I think it's so important for children and adults, children and young adults to be able to have access to a good, strong education. And for especially for younger children, that their parents are able to be involved, that they're not kept out of schools, which seems to be the case in the New York City schools right now. I want schools to be open. I don't want schools to make all kinds of draconian rules about wearing things like face masks, or insisting that students have to have injections in order to go to school. And I want very much for the schools to ground them in the basics, but especially to nurture their ability to think for themselves, to use their critical judgment, and also to learn to become involved with the arts and music and physical education, especially things like dance, because that is so important, not just for their physical health, but for their mental and emotional health. That also means that we need to have libraries that are open, available in every community, and that have a good supply of real, actual books, so that people can go in and make choices for themselves, find things. You discover all kinds of wonderful things when you go into a library and walk along the shelves and discover books that you never even thought you were interested in. And that's so different. The internet is wonderful, and there are great choices there, and you can learn a lot, but there's nothing like wandering around and just picking up a book because you think, oh, that's a pretty cover. And you open it up and you're amazed. It's something that you discover an author that you want to read all their books. And libraries can do that, as well as being wonderful places where people can meet one another and have conversations and contact, feel safe to have contact with one another and with the intellectual world.
So I love everything you have to say. I think you're so wonderful. Please tell us again, remind us what district that you're running for Senate.
I'm running for New York State Senate in the 26th district. That's in Brooklyn, from Dumbo and Brooklyn Heights all the way down through Fort Hamilton and Dyker Heights.
And will you tell us your website again?
Yes, my website is marthaforstatesenate.com. That's FOR, the word written out. So marthaforstatesenate.com. And I hope you visit. And if you have questions, please feel free to send me an email. I'd love to know what you're thinking and answer your questions.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn? Hey, 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 hey.